Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's episode, I'm putting windows into our Defender 90. Before we can actually start marking this up, ready for the aperture for the window to be fitted, using the trim panel as a template, we need to remove this strengthening bar on each side, because obviously the window is going to give this panel its strength now, so this is going to be removed. So you've got a couple of steel rivets here. Now these are really quite hard to drill out. In the past, it's been a little bit easier for me to use the grinding disc or a flap disc just to take that material down and then just prise it off. See, there you go, that's popped off. And that one as well, brilliant. Right, what I'm going to do now is actually just put a little cut from the top there to shape the top off both sides. All I've done is run a blade behind the bracket just to release it from this glue, and then cleaned up my spot welds. Now we're ready to put the panel in place. I'm going to use the seat bolt mount just there to keep the panel in place, draw a line where we want our aperture to be, and then we're going to go for a cut. Now there's a lot more to fitting these panels than this, but this is just to show you guys how I'm going to make the mark. Now I've got it held up the top here with some marking tape, so the panels did enough. I'm going to get a marker pen now and just mark my aperture. Bearing in mind, this is just a guide for where the panel sits and where the window needs to sit. So obviously I'm not going to cut this line because it's all over the shop. But we're going to get the window in now, and if we've got a template, even better. We are going to be fitting these Deluxe windows from Britpart. They come in 3 different tints, I think. So as in, they come in clear, green tint, bronze tint, and a grey tint. So 4 different options. So we've gone for the grey. These are deemed to be some of the best in the market for the money. We shall see if that's true. Before you cut any holes, you need to make sure that the windows you've bought are going to fit the trim inside. I say that because the TD5 and earlier windows are different to Puma windows. Puma windows have less of a radius here, if you like, and so they won't fit as well as they should. So what I'm going to do is actually try and drop this into my frame now before I go ahead and mark it all up, and hopefully that's going to show me that we've got the right bit of kit. So I've got my window dropped into the back face. So this is how it would be on the vehicle, because this would be the outside of the vehicle, this would be the inside. And if I carefully, I've only got one hand, and that's a big metal bar there, and I'll drop it. So you can see here, little tiny bit of a gap in the corner there on both. But I think that is going to be as good as you're going to get. So I'm quite happy with that. Right, in my mind, this is probably the best way you can get the best fit. Use a template, it's really easy. Make sure you get a piece of card that's not folded or anything in the middle, so it doesn't sort of move about when you're doing it. Okay. There we go. Got ourselves a nice template. Now the last little trick is you should be able to use a masking tape roll just to do these radiuses, because they are the same size. So if you want to use a jigsaw, the best thing to do is to drill some oversized holes in the corners here, and I'll do that anyway just to show you. And that means you've got a nice radius and room to move your jigsaw when you're going round. If you want to use a cutting disc on a grinder, which I'll probably use, you can just get up to these edges and then you can use the jigsaw just for these corners. It's entirely up to you what you use. Now I'm going to be using a step drill, and that means I can get a nice good sized hole. I can stop when I need to. Jigsaw's not quite going to give me the room I need, so we're going to have to do the radiuses from the outside like you would if you were doing, say, panoramic glass or doing it differently. So I'm going to drill a series of holes, and then I'm going to go outside and connect them up with the jigsaw. I'm going to support the panel because I don't want it dropping on the vehicle. Sometimes these things can pop out. So there is our hole. Now we've got some pretty nasty rough edges, so we need to get the flap disc out and start tidying them up. So sorry for the poor filming. I've got a new Apple Watch and it's really handy because I can press record when I need to and not be on the camera, but didn't realise that a little knob on the side does the zoom in and zoom out, so it's been going a bit closer as I've been working, so apologies for that. I'll try not to let that happen again, but this is actually the right window. There we go. So the way you can tell is from the outside, it's got drain holes at the bottom, and also the latch should be at the top and at the front. So that's in, really pleased. Hopefully you can now see how it all fits together. So I'm really pleased with the opening. Now I know this corner's not perfect, but what you have to remember is it matches the profile of the actual surround, because if we hadn't done it like that, there'd be a load of material there behind. So the frame will be there, I think it'll be okay. Now, we've got a little bit too much material at the top here. It's the only place I'm not happy with. But apart from that, I think it looks really good. So, I think the best thing to do when you've done this one is use this as a measuring guide, because we know this side is perfect now. There's a bit of a faff doing it from the inside out. So I'd rather, if I can, take some measurements from this side, transpose them over there, and then cut it from the outside. It's going to be a lot easier, and I think it'll be a lot simpler. So our template's all good to go. We just need to measure front and back, top and bottom, get it marked up. 165. Now, when you cut it from the outside, the other thing to mark up is this capping, because the jigsaw will hit it. Now, I reckon that was a lot easier than using the cutting disc, so I recommend using a jigsaw. There we go. That's looking good. The rivet holes are a 4mm. I'm going to pilot them all with a 2.5mm bit, take the frame out, and then I'll drill them out to 4mm. This is a little bit of rubber hose. I'm just going to put it over the drill bit so that when I'm drilling into that frame, it doesn't damage it. So now what I'm going to do is go around with a 4mm bit and just go through my holes ready for the rivets. So I'm really happy with the windows. They all line up perfectly with that trim on the interior. So I'm really looking forward to getting all that installed. Now, we haven't decided yet whether we're going to do the quarter lights in the back here yet. I quite like them plain because I do think they're a bit of a security risk, but at the end of the day, it is a Defender. There's plenty of other security risks as well. But we'll have a little think about what we're going to do with the back ones here. But we are going to be doing Alpine lights. So they're the sort of long, thin lights that go in the roof. And what I'm waiting for now is a headliner to come from Volt, because we're going to be doing the black headliner in here, so it'll be really nice. But they've got the holes cut already for those Alpine lights, so I need to do the same as I did on this one and actually put the headliner in, mark it so I know where it's going to sit perfectly, transpose that somehow to the outside of the vehicle and get them cut so we can fit those after paint as well. Now the truck is pretty much ready to go to paint. I think at the end of next week I'll be taking it over to the body shop. We're going to take the roof and the doors off and the bonnet off, and they're just going to do the main body first. And when that's done, we'll get all the parts over there. So we'll still be working on it a little bit. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Please do subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.